6 months. That's all it takes to completely shift your financial direction. Not by winning the lottery, not by doubling your salary overnight, but by building a system, step by step, that puts you back in control. Most people believe financial security requires a huge income, but that's not true. I've seen people earning average salaries build real stability simply because they understood one thing. Money works better when it has structure. So let me walk you through a 6-month reset. Imagine this as a timeline, a progression from uncertainty to control. Month 1 begins with something most people avoid, looking at the numbers. There's a strange instinct we all have when it comes to money. If things feel tight, we delay checking our bank account. If we overspend, we avoid the statement. Somehow, not looking feels safer. But avoidance quietly creates anxiety. So the first month isn't about changing anything. It's about seeing clearly. You calculate 4 numbers. How much money actually lands in your account each month after tax? How much you must spend to live, rent or mortgage, bills, groceries, transportation? How much, if anything, is already going towards savings or investments? And finally, how much disappears into lifestyle spending, dining out, shopping, subscriptions, entertainment? No judgment, just awareness. Clarity replaces uncertainty, and once you can see the full picture, it becomes manageable. That's month 1. Month 2 is where momentum begins. Now that you know your essential monthly costs, your goal is simple. Save 1 month of those expenses. If your core expenses total $2,000, that becomes your target. This is your first safety net. For the next few weeks, you become intentional. You pause unnecessary purchases. You cook more meals at home. You cancel subscriptions you barely use. It's not forever. It's focused. And something interesting happens when you hit that first milestone. You feel lighter because you're no longer one paycheck away from stress. Month 3 is about removing what holds you back. Debt, specifically high-interest debt, is financial gravity. It pulls against your progress. So now you list every debt you have. Then you organize them by interest rate, from highest to lowest. Anything charging high interest becomes the priority. You direct every extra dollar toward eliminating it, because every % of interest you remove is a guaranteed return. Once the expensive debt is gone, you expand your safety net. 3 months of essential expenses if your job is stable, 6 months if your income fluctuates. You keep this money somewhere accessible but separate from daily spending. By the end of month 3, you've built stability. You're no longer fragile. Month 4 shifts from protection to growth. This is where investing begins. Not in a complicated way, not through risky bets, just steady, broad exposure to the market. If your employer offers retirement matching, you contribute enough to receive the full match. That's part of your compensation. You open a tax-efficient investment account available in your country, and you keep your investments simple, broad market index funds or diversified ETFs. You don't need to outsmart the market. You just need to participate in it consistently. If your emergency fund isn't fully complete yet, you split your focus. Some money goes toward finishing that cushion, some goes toward investing. You build security and wealth at the same time. Month 5 is where acceleration happens. There's a limit to how much you can cut expenses, but income has no ceiling. So now you evaluate your earning power. Are you underpaid? Have you developed skills that aren't being compensated properly? When was your last raise? Sometimes the fastest way to grow income is changing companies. Other times it's negotiating or building something on the side, freelancing, consulting, creating digital products, monetizing a skill. Even a few $100s extra a month invested consistently changes your long-term trajectory dramatically. Income growth speeds up everything. And then month 6 brings it all together. Automation. Because willpower fades, systems don't. You set up automatic bill payments, automatic transfers to savings, automatic investments. Your income flows first toward your future, then toward expenses, then toward lifestyle. You remove the need to constantly decide. And finally, you review. Has your income increased? Can you raise your savings rate? Are your goals evolving? Because financial growth isn't a one-time event. It's a system that adapts as your life changes. 6 months ago, you may have felt uncertain, maybe even behind. But now, you have clarity. You have protection. You have investments growing in the background. You have income expanding. And most importantly, you have control. Financial freedom isn't built in a single dramatic moment. It's built in quiet, consistent steps. And 6 months is enough to take the first major leap.